me, Renee. I'm back, and I'm here for yet another recommendation video. As you can see, this is middle grade books that works for the eurovisionathon. I had planned to kind of get some more from library, and then I thought, you know what, I have quite a few here, and I have some from library, and I thought, and also like the ones I thought of that could include I thought it could include and now I'm blanking out on the name. The one from years ago. It's by a German author, Cornelia Funke, so it would be from Germany. The book Inkblood, yeah, Inkblood, Ink Death, yeah, that trilogy. But then I thought, well, I feel like a lot of people have heard of it, and it's not like I'm not gonna be able to recommend you all the middleweights in the world because I don't know all the middleweights in the world. And I have a stack here of 6 books. I feel like that's a good little portion to do, really. Though, give me a moment. Just have to find another book. But yeah, we have some books here that I'm gonna show you, and hopefully you'll haven't heard of them. Well, probably a lot of these I have talked about before. But hey, maybe this is my first video by me you're watching. Could be. And if so, hi! I talk about middle grades, I talk about romance, I talk about fantasy, all the books, all the read funds, everything. Do lots of book tags, and yeah. Let's get to the coordination. So first we have the Charlie and Nanda series. This, as of right now, there's 4 books out in the series. I've just read the first 2. And this one, the main character is from the United States, but he's of Latin American descent. I think maybe Cuban descent. Well, at least I don't remember quite now if it's Mexican. It's somewhere in Latin America anyway. And in this world, the Latinx myths are real. So he discovers in this book that he's kind of one of those saving the world books series. In this book and the second book, he goes traveling to Spain, Portugal, and somewhat around Latin America. He does the same in the second book. So yeah, this book could be used for Portugal or Spain. So that's up to you, really. Because Eurovisionathon, it's just about Europe. Well, in addition to Australia, but yeah. Then we have Skullduggery Pleasant, which I've talked about before, but I'm going to talk about a bit more again because a good book can never be talked about too many times. So this series is based in Ireland, but one of the main characters in the first few books, because there's a lot of books in this trilogy in this universe. There's 3 main series, but they're all around the same characters. But yeah, in the first few books, Janet Leigh is a big character, and she's from London, so you could use it for England if you want to use it for something for England. Well, that's kind of one of the easier countries, but yeah. After a while, you also meet a character from Australia, so you can use one of those. Though that's later in the book, so you have to research which of the books. I think he meets up in the fifth book, fifth and sixth book. I feel like it's around there. And then in the second series, there's an Icelandic character that's prevalent. So, and also I think there's lots of characters who come in and out in this series. So you can use it for a lot of places, really. I think there's probably some French people and lots of characters, and it's mainly set in Ireland, sometimes England. Sometimes they go to US, but mainly it's that's where it's set. I think maybe in one book they go to Germany, but there's characters for a lot of places. Or you could just use it for Ireland if you want, really. It's also a great way to do it. And if you haven't heard about this book at all, then where have you been? Well, I suppose I talked about this book before. But Skullduggery Pleasant, it's a fantasy mystery series, so he's a private investigator who's a skeleton that's talking and thinking. So those people think how can you be? And like, I mean, it's a magical world, but like, there's no one else like him. And I suppose the real answer is just magic. The answer is like the real answer is just because the author kind of wanted to make a skeleton talks and whatnot, but there's no like great explanation of how he is really. He just is. But yeah, you have a world with like lots of magic users. You have a world with ghosts, people who can teleport, uh, creepy villains, and it's very funny. You have. I'm just gonna double check, but I think. Okay, I can't really use this one because this one is actually full of short stories. But yeah, you also have like it's one of these series where you have chapter titles, so it's just very funny and also very cliffhangery. There's also several novellas. If you this one of the novella collections. So if you want something quick, you can do one of the novellas with this one. That's an option. Then we have a book that's not that unfamiliar to people, though I don't know what you know or not, but we have The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. This one takes place in the US, but one of the main characters is from the UK. So, yeah, could be for UK. One of the main characters is, well, one of the big characters is from Turkey, I want to say. So I suppose that can also. Now I'm thinking again. Is Turkey part of the US Eurovision? I think they are. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, you can use it for UK. And it's just, yeah, a great, very fun trilogy about, as you can see, Egyptian mythology. Then you have The Cursed Carnival, which is a collection of short stories from lots of different authors. And the one by Rick Riordan is set in Ireland, a historical Ireland, so you can use it for that. The other ones, I don't really feel like you can use. The other ones, really. So, yeah, that's the one you can use, really. So maybe there's, yeah, that's really one you can use, but it's a fun, a good read, really. Then we have the Pages and Co series. So the first book takes place in takes place in UK. Second book takes place in France, and then the third book they go to the US. The fourth they go to Italy. Yeah, they go to Italy. And they also go to Italy in this book. So yeah, it's kind of like different settings there, really. This is the last book. I mean, I've read most of the series from the library, so I just own this last one. But also, this is also a story where the main character can walk into stories. So in that way, you can use it for Norway because this one goes into Norse mythology. You can use one of the other books for, yeah, I mean, there's lots of stories that they use, so lots of options really. And it's both chapter title, but you also have like nice pictures here and there. So yeah. And then we have a bit of a flashback, throwback. It is The Shamer's Daughter by Lene Kobberbø. So this is a middle grade fantasy series by a Danish author. All the books, yeah, pretty sure all the books are out in English because it's like a huge phenomenon. Like it's kind of a fantasy classic here in Scandinavia. It's like everyone around my age at least like read it, and I think a lot of people probably younger than me also read it. Like it came out in the early 2000s and it was all over. And then a few years, just a few years ago, there was some movies. There were one movie based on the first book, and then a second movie based on second and third book. And the second movie didn't do that well, so yeah. This is the third book because I kind of just wanted a book to show. But if you're gonna read this, of course, read the first book. So maybe you read the first book last year, then you pick up the second book because yeah, it's just creepy villains, great world building, great characters, feminist undertone. It's just so good. And like the first book is actually just around, under like 200 pages, so it's a quick read. This is a third book. It's just under 300 pages. Again, it's a middle grade. Well, all these are middle grades, so they're quick reads. this one also, I feel like the fourth book maybe it's a bit thicker, but it's not like none of the books are like huge. So yeah, if you're missing a book from Denmark, definitely check out this series. Sorry. Then we have The Uncommoners by Jennifer Bell. This is again for the UK. It's just kind of very easy to find for UK, really. But yeah, it's also just a very quirky, nice trilogy. I read it, I finished it last year, and I just love it so much. It's like it's a world with magic, but we don't want to talk about it as magic, but it is what it is. Like I suppose kind of think a bit like a series of unfortunate events. It's kind of like magic, but like quirky and absurd and creepy in some ways. And it's just a vivid world and just a cool, fun world, and yeah, it's just an amazing world. And yeah, it's a trilogy, so pick one of these. I think the third book they go traveling. I think they go traveling maybe to Egypt or something. I don't think they go traveling around Europe, so yeah, would just be for UK. No, might be used for France because I think there's some France elements to it. Yeah. Anywho, then we have Time Villains by Victor Pinheiro. This one takes place in the US, but it has villains from books. So it's both villains from real life history, but also like made up villains like Dracula. Well, Dracula shows up in the second book, but yeah. This first book has Blackbeard, which was actually a real life person, but it also has Mozart as a kid. Mozart was from Austria, Germany, one of those. So yeah, and also yeah, just quite a delightful, fun reader. Like kind of it takes that kind of idea, like because you often get a question like, who would you invite if you could invite anyone to a dinner party, like from history, from like alive or dead, who would you invite? Here he has to like write that down for a history class, but also he has a magic table, so the people who writes down comes to the meal. So that's like, yeah, what would happen if that thing was real? But like take it in a middle grade context, and yeah, it's quite charming and very fun, and yeah. As far as I know, it's just 2 books out right now in series. I kind of feel like also it doesn't really need a third book, but yeah, just so you know that. Then we have Crookhaven, which I have not read myself, but I plan to read this weekend actually, or soon. The author is raised in Portugal. He now lives in the UK. I'm not sure if this book is just set in the UK, but like for eurovisionathon, you can't just take an author who's from place and then the book is set someplace else. So yeah, I mean, a School for Thieves book for middle grade authors audience. That just sounds so fun and cool, and yeah. So there's that really. Yeah, if you there, I just kind of feel like mentioning it. There's also a book by a Norwegian author called, and I'm blanking out on the name of the author, which is just silliness. You know what? I'm gonna check her out. She has a name. Her name is valid and important and good. Let me check out her name. Because she exists in a lot of languages, among them English. Yeah, okay. You know what? Give me a little moment. Yeah, her name is Maria Par. She has at least one book out in English. I feel like it's maybe more like younger middle grade. It's not like, I wouldn't give it to like 12-year-old. I mean, might give it to like an 8, 9-year-old. But it's they kind of like read a bit like kind of Heidi-ish, the stories. Well, at least that one book. I've actually just read one of the books. It's called Astrid the Unstoppable in English. I'll link the Goodreads down below. I write it down. So yeah, there's that, and yeah, that's this. It's really for this video. I hope you enjoyed the tips. Weren't really that many new ones, but yeah, as I said, a good book never be touched too many times. And yeah, if you have some really great recommendations of books for the Eurovisionathon, please talk about them. And I'll see you soon. Bye.